Welcome along. Sorry about that. I've already butchered the intro. Welcome everybody to round 11 of SDN season 6, and today we arrive at the crown jewel of the calendar, the legendary streets of Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix. It's where the walls are close, margins are tighter, and every millimetre counts. There's no room for error, no grass to run on, just cold barriers and unforgiving corners from Sandavot to the swimming pool and through the iconic Casino Square. This is Formula One's ultimate test of precision, bravery and accuracy. Overtaking here, let's admit it, is impossible, which means qualified today will be very important for the most important qualified sessions of the entire season. Track position is everything, crucially as well. You can win on Saturday and defend for your life on Sunday, but one mistake and that is your race over. And it's night time too for good measure. That's the first ever time I've night time. Guys, well, hello mate, and I don't know who's going to win tonight, to be honest with you. Probably Kevin Sundberg after GSR's performance. After a while back-to-back at Austria and Zandvoort, the title race is still heated up. Kevin still leads the championship with 171 points, but that gap is shrinking. Kick is now hot on his heels in P2 with 134. And Lucas, after a stellar weekend in the Netherlands, now climbs to third with 112 points, right back in contention after Kick let him go as well, which is quite strange. Fire, Khatikas and Eric need to put the pressure on and put solid points, and it would be dangerous here if the top three splits up as well. At the Austrian Grand Prix, the winner was Kevin. We weren't here for that, and Kick finished in P2, Fire finished in P3, and driver of the day was Leonard. Fastest lap on pole was Leonard as well, which was quite surprising. And at the Dutch GP, it was Lucas the winner from P6 after mishaps from Happy Meal, who spun at the end of turn 2, or should I say turn number 13 in reverse. And it was Lucas who won in Kick in P2, Khatikas in P3. So here we go then, as the SDN grid gets ready to dance with the danger in Monaco. Every single driver knows the risks, but the reward. Let's see if Kevin can extend the championship gap, or let's see if Lucas and Kick can strike again. My name is Morris, or Indigo, as you like to call me. Don't know why I didn't say my first name there. And alongside me tonight is Milan Langer. The commentators are back after a week off.
Indeed, and it is great to be back in 2 weeks' time. Well, on what a race to return to Monaco. So we start off with the most important qualifying in history here at Monaco. It's impossible to overtake. Who is going to hit the wall? That is the question. Taisi is the first one out on track in the kickstart. We'll see what he can do. Also, traffic is going to be a big factor because we've got 20 drivers tonight, a full grid, who are in their sane minds decided to turn up to Monaco. It might be a single file all the way to the end of the race, or it's going to be absolute chaos. There's no in between. We'll find out in a few moments' time. But Taisi has started his first flying lap. So let's see what he is going to be able to do. So close to the inside wall, bit of a moment, bit of a snap mid-corner. The variant stepping out, and I'm not sure if he's backed off. I think he has. Yes, he has. So not going to be the quickest lap time so far. Right behind is one of the Red Bulls, which is Leonard. But he's on a lap, so he is not on a lap as well. So Colin is there as well. Sheep Gamer, Happy Meal, all on a lap. Lucas in the Williams out on the intermediate. So just getting used to the track a little bit. It's nighttime, of course. I think already someone hit the wall there. So the front wing scattered around the track, but we'll keep an eye out on those who are on the lap. Happy Meal is making his way towards the tunnel. Always a great contender for a good result in qualifying, and he will need it tonight. Because your qualifying position basically determines where you're going to finish unless there are some incidents in the main race. He is going to go in towards Tabak to enter the final sector around this track. Also the quickest sector around this track as we go through the swimming pool chicane, purple middle sector. Go across the curb as Stock Tapes with a 110.3 is our current professional pole sitter, but of course everyone still needs to set their lap time. Out of the final corner comes the Mercedes driver. Let's see if he's going to break into the 109s already. Yes, he is 109.985, and he is 4/10 ahead of Top Davis. Sleepy Gamer then goes up to P3 with a 110.8. Of course, these are all the banker laps. Just want to get a lap time in, so you might get affected by traffic later on as Lucas in the intermediate with 115 as well. But at the moment, it's Happy Meal out in front, but it's all about getting that lap time so you can make your way through into the next part of qualifying.
I really can't believe there's a full grid. I think it's the first time since Australia, Saudi Arabia, since we had a full grid, and that was the first race of the season as well. And to turn up here at the Monaco Grand Prix, qualifying is going to erupt into chaos and descend into chaos. And I don't think this might not be a clean race because it's so difficult to overtake. So sitting behind somebody for the whole race is just going to be an absolute pain. Miles Marquez goes up into P2 in the racing ball. Of course, he hasn't really been around for SDN for such a long time, well, in Tier 1 it seems, but he does race elsewhere. Robbie Jacobs, I'm on board with him as he makes his way down in towards the back as well as he makes his way now towards the Liverpool session. I think he did race a couple of races ago as well. Well, that's super close there, and he hits the wall once again. Bounce over the chicane where Verstappen hit the wall back in 2017, 18. Don't know what my my memory is fading away from Monaco because I absolutely despise this track. But Robbie Jacobs goes up to P5 ahead of Leonard. I used to know all the corner names and numbers off by heart, but I don't exactly remember anymore because I don't really like this track. But Ticey goes up into P2 with a 10.1, and Ticey so far this season too has done a really good job. He's been inside the top 10 majority of the time, aside an assassin back at the Dutch GP when others fell foul around him. He was able to capitalise, and I think he finished inside the top 6 spot despite having a 3-second tabletty towards the end of the race, maybe a 5-second tabletty for ignoring track limits there or cutting corners. But he's been doing a good job so far. Both kick-starters do regularly score inside the top 10, but it's just their qualifiers they have to keep a watchful eye on as well because they just fall down. But qualifier tonight will be very important indeed, so they hope that they get a good qualifier out here, as a lot of people at the exit to back are smashing into the wall there as well with their rear tyre. Nico Rosberg back in 2008 had a massive smash there as well, caused a safety car on that day as he heads in towards the pit lane, so he's not happy and satisfied with that lap time. Ivan in the McLaren is making his way down towards the hairpin. And Van as well, also a driver who came back strong at the Belgian Grand Prix, but he really hasn't shown much since then as well. He has a few DNSs as well for good measure. He is a very quick driver in his day. We saw it last season, and I think he picked up one win, just one last season, or maybe none. It was definitely something like that. I think he came very close to winning, but unfortunately just couldn't get there. So I think Ivan's still yet to win a race here in SDN. He's been super close, and also I think Mike as well, who used to be in the Ferrari, but unfortunately he's out. I think he's a reserve driver for the time being, and as he had a few problems in this league back in Saudi Arabia, and he felt like a lot of people didn't really like him, so I think he left for that reason. And it's a shame really because Fireblaze and Mike are really good teammates, and here comes Ivan towards the line at 16.9, goes up into P12 of course. In Q1 we're just looking for the bottom 5 to be eliminated, and we've got some big names in there. Eric in P16, who has regularly scored some good results as well, but unfortunately that man picked up a puncher back at the British GP and had to cast it the same thing. Their tyres were 11 laps old and they picked up a puncher, both of them on the same lap on the same place, so they extended their stint way too long and unfortunately paid the price for that one. But we know Eric can be very quick, we know Khatikast can be very quick. He's just track dependent and confidence as well heading towards this one. But of course this is a wheel based track, so whoever's on the wheel will have the big advantage. But Robbie Jacobs though is up to P5. Happy Bill's still in first place, so he's still occupying the pole position for the time being. There's a traffic jam going down towards the North Chicane. We're on board with Eric. Well, I'm on board with Eric, but unfortunately he's invalidated, so he won't be going and setting that lap time. But Happy Meal just asked us, Milan, how was the Netherlands? Well, Milan lives there, so he has he knows what it's like to live there. But for me, I enjoyed the Netherlands. It was a lot of fun. Of course, I was there last month as well in September in Amsterdam. As you don't want to know what I was doing in Amsterdam, but in Lelystad it was a incredible, unforgettable, unreal experience for the first time ever commentated in real life, and I had the pleasure to share it with 6 other people or 5 other people: Milan, Bjorn, Alex, and Steiny. All of them did an incredible job for the whole weekend, and it went perfect. It's not perfect, but it went amazingly well, surprisingly as well. We didn't really have too many errors on well, the stream did, but that's not our fault. It was the signal strength. But I think overall, Milan, it was a pretty solid weekend, and we all did an exceptional job.
Yeah, I agree. It was a lot of fun, and we certainly did well. We had to get used to everything around the track with the cameras and things like that. But after that, we got settled in, and I think we smashed it for the remaining 23 hours after that. So it certainly was awesome fun and a great weekend to look back to. Certainly hope it will not be the only time. But we have got 9 minutes remaining here in qualifying, and there's a lot of drivers I would say 10 of these drivers still need to set a representative lap time. Colin in P10, Colin in 5. Kevin just starting another flying lap at P11. He set his fastest lap on the intermediates on 14.7. But let's see what it's going to do. Erik comes quick as 9.3. 6 quicker than Hamil. But Kevin Sutterberg now going through Casino Square as Lucas goes onto the front row as well. 9.6 now in towards Mirabel, already 1.6 seconds up through the first sector now into the lowest hairpin. As a reach for your car in as Kick now goes second place, 200s ahead of his teammate. As we now head in towards the right-hander of Portia, and then we go in towards the tunnel flat out for a longest part around the track before we break for the Nouvelle chicane. Let's see how he's going to tackle that if he doesn't hit the inside wall. Bit hesitant on turn in, but still a great line throughout there. And now we go to the left-hander off the back, have to recross the inside wall, hits the outside barrier, but it's up by 4 seconds. In the middle sector now towards the swimming pool chicane, another ball hit on the outside and in towards Raskas, which means the one corner remain. Anthony knows, I think, is what it's called. And now DRS open towards the line. Is it going to be quicker than Nick? We're going to find out very soon. In 8.985, and he puts his McLaren at the front by over 4/10 of a second, almost 4/10 of a second towards Erik, and that is more like it from our championship leader. There's more out on track. Fireblaze down in P20 right now, but he is about to finish his first flying lap as well. Let's see what he is going to be able to do. Is he going to be in the 1.9s? Yes, he is, 9.7, and he puts Ferrari inside the top 5, which should be enough to see him through into the next part of qualifying. Misha in the Aston Martin also on laps as well. Hasn't been a great time so far in qualifying, must be said. Hitting walls left, right, and center. Ivan also on the lap, but Misha, I think he has backed off. Yes, he has through swimming again, so he is not going to be setting a lap time either. So it's only going to be around 1 lap towards the very end of the lap. So we focus on Sasha and Ivan. And Sasha going to make his way now in towards the final sector. Can he get anywhere close to his teammate? We've seen him struggle on his first lap, getting an invalidation as he gets out of the chicane, hitting the wall on the outside like many drivers do. Of course, the damage I think is sector reduced, so you can get away with that. At least in qualifying, don't want to take that risk in the race. But here comes Sasha towards the finish line. It's only gonna be a 10.7, which is P14, and I don't think that's gonna be enough, as Ivan has crossed the line to P9. Kevin has retired, he will be safe, and his teammate just inside the top 10, dropping Dominic down to P11 in the second Sauber. The 2 Sauber still inside the top 11. Dominic is on an improvement. He's improving by 75 thousandths of a second through the middle sector. If he pulls that through, he might put himself just behind his teammate in P8. Would be a great result for the Kick Sauber team if they can at least get both cars through into Q2 and maybe even in towards Q3 later on. We'll find out soon. But here comes Nick to cross the line. He goes up to P8 just behind his teammate. Great lap, and the 2 Saubers are 7 and 8.
Oh, Happy Meal just invalidated on the entry towards the double chicane there, and it was just as well. So just pushing very hard to the limits, and it's a shame though as well because just a slight inch wider than usual. That's the validation. You got to push the absolute limits to this track to try and gain the best lap time. And unfortunately, Happy Meal just overstepped the mark, literally, and has invalidated. But I don't think he'll care that much because he's bailed out the pit lane there, so that's going to be quite surprising. Remember as well, for those people who are relatively safe, and for those people who are known to get themselves through safely, every time they go out there, they risk damage as well. So you can be very careful tiptoeing your way around. If it was any other circuit, then fair enough, you could go out to do multiple runs, if you want to, of course, on the same set of soft compound tyres, because you don't want to be wasting them away. You can waste them in qualify, but barely anybody will use them in a race because the tyre wear is just so frantic. Oh, Robbie Jacobs there. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Milan?
Yeah, I was riding aboard as well. That is an interesting line, truth to back to be said.
Inventing his own track limits. And I did see a video of this as well, like years ago, somebody riding the walls and getting away with it. Oh, but Robbie Jacobs, though, hits the barrier on the entry towards Anthony Nose, and that's going to lose him so much time. He lost him 5/10 in the last sector. So, unfortunately, Karma got him back, and we caught him live on camera, him exceeding that limit there as well, literally, but they give him a validation. I think somebody tried to ride these balls as well. I think in Time Charge tried to cheat, but now it gives you, and this is the next type of validation after the game fixed it as well. So Robbie Jacobs is down in P14 on the brink, and Sasha Hood literally jumping over the chicane there, and he got himself in a validation. He's on the brink of getting knocked out. He's in the pit lane. He hasn't got any time. Well, he's got some time left, but barely any now. Khatikas is down there P16 now. Expect the Red Bull drive to struggle, considering he's on a pad, and most pad players do struggle. And Khatikas too. He said to me before this race that he's only doing a few laps as well as practice, so he hasn't really got much information, got much of a feel, knowledge around the circuit, which you definitely need. Daniel in P17. I think he's the only Brit here on the grid. So welcome, Daniel. I'll be supporting you for the whole race. Got the number 77 throw on his car as well. So Milan will be definitely supporting you. But unfortunately for Daniel, that number 77 will be gone next year on this game because Valtteri Bottas will occupy it once again if he does choose to stay with the number 77. Of course, Valtteri Bottas being Milan Langer's biggest fan, and you absolutely love him, don't you?
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the man. In the meantime, Misha was on up. He goes to P6, which is the 77. Will be back. Well, not for the drivers, of course, but he will be occupying that number. But we'll see what Daniel can do. He's on a lap, I think, as he goes into his final corner, but very deep, and he goes back into the pit lane to abort that attempt because he's only got less than 3 minutes remaining. So if he thinks, well, that lap time is not going to be enough, he can just pull back into the pit lane and have another go. And he's got the time to do so. Geitkaas at P17. He's out on a lap. He's improving by 0.3 of a second. But it is not looking good for him at all because 0.3 of a second is around the gap towards Sasha in P16. So he needs a bit more than that to be able to get him safely through. And if he does, then he will push his teammate out at the moment. So both Red Bulls clearly struggling here around Monaco. He's going to cross the line to only go up in the P12. But he is not going to be very safe because Sheepy Gamer in P15 is also improving by around 2-3 of a second in the middle sector, and he might be able to get ahead of the Red Bull, who I think is done in qualifying, and he goes up to P8. Goes Sheepy Gamer, which demotes Geitkaas down to P13, and there is 7 drivers behind them who can still go out for an improvement, and the gap towards P16 is only 0.3 for Geitkaas. So I would be fearing for a potential Q1 elimination for the Red Bull. The top 4 has overtime. Happy Meal has as well in P7, who is exactly 1 second off Kevin Sonnenberg, but those will definitely be safe. But there are some quick drivers still in the drop zone. Robba in P50, we know that he can go much quicker. Leonard, I'm sure he can find some time as well. Sasha should be able to find some time as well. Daniel, I think he's back out on track as well. TVHNL and Colin might not be as big as a threat than some of the other drivers are, but Geitkaas definitely has to look backwards because I don't think he's got the fuel. So no, he hasn't got the fuel. He's back in the pit lane, so it's going to be P13 at best for Geitkaas in Q1. But is it going to be enough? That is the question.
Oh, Lennon just smacked into the wall of the exit turn. But yes, that's going to be a good question indeed for P13 to 10.3, especially when Xavier is quite close. We know Robbie can improve as well if he doesn't cheat. Oh, once again, Lennon hits the wall there on the entry towards the Casino Square. Mick Schumacher crashed, I think, back in 2021, I believe it was. He crashed there in FP3 or qualifying. Then he crashed again in 2022, ripping the car in half twice as well. Happened in 2020 in Bahrain. Then will happen once again in 2022 in the Monaco Grand Prix. Kevin Magnussen also retired there too because when Schumacher crashed, Magnussen watched it and it was a double Haas DNF. Here comes Leonard. He's bounced all over the walls but still kept his filming intact. So quite surprised to see that as he heads down towards the back as well. When he scraped the walls and the exit, he's 1/10 down. And looks like he was about to validate because he was swerving over to the right there, and he has invalidated as well, unfortunately. So Lennon is out of Q1, unfortunately. That's his qualifying session done and dusted. TVHNL. Colin's backed off as well, so qualifying is done and dusted, and Colin is out of qualifying, and Robbie Yako is about to be knocked out as well. He's down towards the no chicane, and he's coming towards the back. And once again, does the same line. He's 1 second up. He best not butcher it. He best not butcher it in towards the final sector because that'll be embarrassing if he does get knocked out of Q1, considering he's cheating, it seems. I'm not quite sure whether people have picked that up. And if they have, they might follow the same tactic. So if it works, isn't it? But here comes Robin Eccles towards the line. He goes up into P6, and he'll be definitely safe there. Only 300 slower than Fireblades. Miles Makis, his best result this season was P5, I think, at the Saudi Grand Prix. He finished P7 at Losail, has a massive snapper on going towards the final corner. Here he comes towards the line. Mel's goes up into P7 ahead of Octavia, and a decent lap time from the Racing Bull driver who does have some good pace. But out of Q1 is sorry. Out of Q1 is Gas. Unfortunately, I tripped over my own words there. Not words, but you know what I mean. Mummy Nick and Ticey Peters, the P14. It's both Red Bulls who are out of qualifying 1. Gas and Leonard Just Hood is out of qualifying 2. And Daniel the Brit is unfortunately out of qualifying as well. TVHNL, who is, I dare say, is a regular suspect who gets out of Q1, but he does have good race pace, you know. He does get himself somehow inside the top 10. Finished P9 back at the Austrian Grand Prix. He finished, I think, P8 at the Dutch GP. So he's one of those drivers that can claw his way back, but it'll be difficult to do so here at the Monaco Grand Prix. But Kevin Zonnenberg is on pole position, provisional pole, by 0.4 of a second ahead of Eric, Kiki P3, and Lucas in P4. I almost got fooled, you know, because I thought this Lucas was a different Lucas, but I realised when he had his name change in the Williams. Ivan P5 ahead of Fireblades, Robbie Ackles P7 ahead of Mel's Marcus, Doctavia, and Misha P10. Happy Bill says he didn't want to take too many risks, and that's fair enough, you know, but it's P11, so that would be good enough for Q3 because that'll be out of it, unfortunately. So Happy Meal on this lap has got to improve and push. And Robbie Ackles says drive smarter, not faster. Well, that's a fair point, and it's legal, and nobody's written a rule about it, and it's not invalidated either, so why not? I hope you don't break your wing in the process, because I don't think it'll work every single lap. So keep doing it, Robbie, and see how far you'll get without a broken wing. But there may be one more, there may be a slight chance of breaking that front wing. Right, we're in Q2 then. 15 minutes of qualifying in this qualifying session here in the second qualifying. This used to be an important one because years ago we had that tyre change, that tyre rule where whoever, let me get this phrase right because I always used to say this phrase wrong. So the fastest lap time is the tyres, you know what I'm trying to say, don't you? So I don't know why. I've always struggled for years and years as a commentator, 6-7 years. I've always struggled to try and say what I wanted to say, but I think most of you know what I'm talking about. Milan, can you do it?
The tire you set your fastest lap time on in quality is the tire you start the race on. Is exactly. I think what you're trying to say, yeah. But they changed that, of course, here around Monaco. But, 15 minutes. And also, I think it's going to be a mandatory two-stop in the race as well. So it's going to spice things up with that new rule being implemented. So it certainly is going to be interesting. With strategies, that is basically the only way you can overtake around this track, by having a different strategy, by going for the undercut, which I think a lot of people will do to possibly gain a position. But we arrive here in the second part of qualifying. It's really very busy out on track. And I think the first one out is Lucas in the Williams. So we'll see what he is going to be able to do. I wonder if anyone has picked up what Robert did in Tabak, if anyone else is going to do the same. Of course, it's a big risk. Wall riding there, you can risk damaging your front wing. If you do it on your final lap, you damage your front wing and you're outside the top 10, then it's qualifying over and your position is going to be ruined for the race as well. But Lucas starts his first flying lap going in towards the start, they thought, and he kept it nice and clean. Now going up the hill towards Casino Square, have to be very tight to the inside there and to the right here as well. Very easy to just hit the inside wall, bounce off wide, or potentially even knock off your front right wheel. But he hasn't done that. He's kept it clean through Mirabeau as well. And now, rear lock your way in towards the hairpin. Definitely the way to go, because you get that extra rotation. And now out of board here and on towards what you can somehow sort of call it a back straight. It's flat out all the way towards the chicane, which is also a hazard for getting your wheel knocked off. And he was a little bit deep in towards the chicane, but I don't think he lost too much time with it. Now through the back, not a bouncing off the ball on the outside. Seems like a very clean lap so far for Lucas as well through the chicane here. Very close to the inside wall, but doesn't touch it. And now in towards Raskas and out. And for the final time, making his way on towards the start-finish straight. Very clean lap overall. Let's see what the lap time is going to be. A 1:09.5. I do wonder, of course, if these drivers are on a used set of softs for their initial runs. As Toctavia goes P3, Mel goes P2, Happy Meal goes quickest immediately. Something tells me that he is not on a used tire, because he's got a 1:09.4, which is a good lap time. Indeed, Ticey's gone in towards 4th place with a 10.3. Then it's the two McLarens of Avan and Kevin. Kevin was ghosted for a brief moment there. Let's see what his lap going to be. 9.9. So definitely on a used set of tires. Misha with a 10.6. Not the quickest we've seen from him. Robert goes P3 with a 9.9. I wonder if he used that strategy on his first run. And just behind is Sheepy Gamer and Kick making their way towards the line. As Fireblaze goes P3. Oh, and that is a big slide into towards the wall. Goes Sheepy Gamer on the exit of the swimming pool chicane. Fully backwards in towards the wall. And he goes immediately back into the pit lane. Kick with 1:15.5, so definitely has gone for a second outlap and will start another one right down. Mamiek goes across the line just out of his teammates with a 10.0, but once again, it is Happy Meal on provisional after the first runs.
It is indeed. The fastest lap time we've seen so far in this qualifying session is an 8.9, but of course, like you said, in these early stages of qualifying, people not choosing to go on a new set of stock car pad tyres. They want the track to evolve, rubber in and get quicker and do it that way, as all these guys just try to find the grip as well. I think as well, the old soft car pad tyre is the best way to go. Try and get more feel as well and be more confident next time up. Evans around the final corner. Let's see what he does. He's going to go for end of the lap time on these sets of soft car pad tyres. Approaching turn 1 we go. Back on the throttle as he brushed the wall on the exit of turn 1 there. As Eric goes quicker with the 9.2. Definitely on a brand new set of soft car pad tyres as we see a van make his way through now Casino Square, and I can't remember any of these corner names anymore like I used to. Mirabo though, where we saw Marcus Ericsson crash into Massa in 2014, and Fernando Alonso unfortunately crashed to the wall too in 2022 qualifying, and the most famous one of course, Nico Rosberg in the runoff area after he well, who knows what he did? I think I don't think he did it on purpose. I think he made a genuine mistake there. I have no idea. I'm only joking. But yeah, Nico Rosberg went down the escape road at Mirabo and it caused the yellow flag and prevented Hamilton from trying to snatch pole. And Rosberg went on to win for the second year in a row as a van hits the wall in towards the back. And you can see 6 seconds up from his previous best with 80.0, but he's been a scruffy lap so far. But yeah, Nico Rosberg won the 2014 Monaco Grand Prix for the second year in a row after winning 2013 against both Red Bulls. And the safety car came out because Hamilton was supposed to finish in second place, but unfortunately for him, he had to double stack and he lost so much time towards the Red Bull drivers, Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel finished in second and third place after a big crash with, was it Chilton and Maldonado, and Bianchi as well got involved in that. Well, Bianchi unfortunately had to hit the barriers too because it stuck out on the exit. But yeah, 2013 was a mad race with safety cars. We used to have like really fun Monaco races in the past, but now that obviously it's just so boring with the width of the cars, the structure, the build is just so wide and it's just so difficult. I don't understand as well because we're here for such a long time in Monaco, and if anybody's got insomnia, it's very you can easily fall asleep to this race as Mum and Nick stays in P8 for the time being. It's both Kiksawa's coming inside the top 10. But yeah, Monaco this year, this year, was an absolute snooze fest. I think Lando Norris won the race ahead of Charles Leclerc, while Oscar Piastri was making mistakes at the same time. And I think it was, who finished in P4? Was it Verstappen or Hamilton? I actually don't remember because it was such a boring race. I don't think anything happened. I remember Russell going off the track early to try and get past both Williams drivers who were doing a blockade, and clever strategy as well. I remember Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar getting good results as well. Liam Lawson's got his first points, I think, in Monaco this season after a difficult time in Red Bull at Australia, and also the second race of the season, I think that was in China. It's got to be China because Yuki Tsunoda replaced him with Japan. Mo and Nick just invalidated, but of course majority of these people are in the pit lane. Kevin Zumberg is out of the garage once again. He's set a purple first setter as he flicks the car in, going in towards the hairpin. And of course I saw Kevin, me and Milan saw Kevin last week, and he did an absolute excellent job. It was his first ever time commentating in general. He hasn't even done it in real online, so he can gladly say he's commentated in real life and he's never done it online. So yeah, he should be proud of himself on that one. He did an amazing job as well, being lined up next to Venjoke with the curly hair and glasses. So he did an absolute fantastic job of commentating as well. No idea what he said. Oh, he hits the wall aggressively as well, and again. So a lot of aggressive approaches going in towards the corners, and it seems to be working out for the time being. But one small misjudgment and mistake could lead to your unfortunate invalidation. But Kevin Zumberg goes quickest with 8.5. That's 4/10 quicker than Q1, so he's blisteringly quick. But every single lap, he's putting more risk in, which means a higher chance of crashing here in Monaco. But the more risk, the better, and he's certainly trying to take all the risk. He's currently about 7 tenths quicker than Eric. But yeah, like I said, Milan, he has done an absolute job as well in. What are you laughing at?
Oh, I was riding on board with Misha, who just invalidated, and he was trying to turn into the pit lane, then decided he was not going to go into the pit lane, smashed into the pit wall, then reversed back onto the track to go back into the pit lane. So, strange moment for the Aston Martin, but go on.
Yeah, I was just talking about Kevin, how much of a good job he's done. But Shibi Gamer is just wheel spinning everywhere, and he's hits the wall as well. I think he's driving angry after making a lot of mistakes here in Monaco. Who isn't going to be driving angry around here? Because it's going to be so furious, like when you hit every single wall. And I think Kick, Eric, Kick, I said it about the first time. Kick is out there. Shibi Gamer has retired in the pit lane, so he's had enough as the former Division 2 runner-up. As happy we won the Division 2 championship last season. But yeah, man, I was just talking about Kevin Zumberg, and yeah, he's a very nice guy, very chill guy. He did an excellent job, didn't he?
He certainly did, and it was very good for him being his debut on commentary altogether. Well, of course, it took him a few minutes to settle in. Of course, it's something new, hadn't done before. But after that, he just went off, and he did an incredible job throughout the entire event. So that must be said, and he's doing an incredible job tonight. That also must be said, because he's on pole position at the moment by almost 7 tenths of a second. So he's incredibly quick on the racetrack, and also very good in the commentary box. So definitely two great things to have as a Kick. He is going to go for another lap. We've got 5 minutes to go here in qualifying. The Williams is down in P9, definitely not a safe position to be in. He's in the Kick Sauber sandwich, but at the moment still on their way to make it through into Q3. But of course, Van, Misha are all going to be quick as well. Geitekaas still needs a lap time. He's hasn't got one so far. Sheepcam has retired. He is not going to be setting a lap time, so he will be out of qualifying. He's not going to make it to Q3, but Kick is trying to do that. And he's already up by a few tenths through the first sector as he now go on towards the back straight in towards the tunnel. Riding on board with the Williams. Roy also started lap time. We keep an eye on him in a few moments' time, seeing his antics through the back corner at the very end of the lap, but very nicely done there through the chicane from Kick. His teammates up at P4, a good 5-6 tenths ahead of him, but Kick improving by almost 8 tenths through the middle sector. At the moment, he's looking at an P3, maybe P2, if he finds some more time in the final sector. Erik is around 7 tenths of a second off Kevin at the moment, so it seems like a good final few corners as well for Kick, who is going to cross the line to go up into the front row potentially. Yes, he does. 8.9, 3 tenths off, and a brilliant lap time indeed for the Williams. Now we'll look at Robert, who was unfortunately invalidated. I hope he's brought enough fuel with him to go for a lap as he cuts across the chicane there. And this time he doesn't hit the wall because he's only in lap. But Erik has retired, he is going to be safe. But Robert down at P7, the gap towards P11 is, well, a good 5-6 tenths of a second. But you can never be sure. But hopefully he's got enough fuel to go for a lap. I think he has. We'll also keep an eye on Van, who is going for a second lap. Geitekaas has just started his first flying lap, and so has Fireblaze. So plenty of drivers out on track trying to improve. Still good fuel still not in pit lane, and waiting for the final couple of minutes of qualifying to go for the Van. Geitekaas is not on the lap. You can see that he's not deploying any battery at all. So we'll switch back to Robert on his second attempt, improving by 77 thousandths in the first. A very nice number as he now goes in towards the hairpin. Let's see what this lap time is going to bring him. Let's see if he's going to be pulling off that strategy as we start the final sector. A bit of a wheel spin out of Portier as he enters the tunnel. Has lost maybe a few hundreds with that, but not too much. Now breaking in towards the chicane. Very easy to invalidate. You can cut across a little bit, but not too much, and he has just done that. And now going in towards here, yes, he does. Absolutely slammed to the outside, was up by 5 tenths of a second. Definitely looks very clean this time. A bit of understeer though through the chicane, but he hasn't invalidated. And now as he comes out of the final corner, let's see where this lap time is going to bring him. Potentially on the second row alongside Erik. Let's see. Someone comes out of the pit lane, P6, has lost a bit of time in the final sector, almost smashing into the back as well of Taisi, but a good lap, and hopefully that's going to bring him to the end. Fireblaze is going to start on the lap as well in P7.
Let's go on board with Fireblaze then, as he rounds off turn number 1 there, as we've got majority of people on their flying laps. Kick, Erik, and Kevin Sonnenberg have retired. So is Cheapest Gamer in P15. He won't take part in Q2. But Ivan, Misha, Saltavia, and Khatikas there in the danger zone, whilst Tyson and Miminik in the top 10. Those two have been struggling this season, but they're decent point scorers, it must be said, and they do have good pace when it comes to their day as well. Quiet races in the past couple of races from Miminik and Tyson, unless you can keep it up. Massive wheel spin there for Fireblaze, where Jensen Button hit the back of Pascal Wehrlein going in towards Portier, and if Jensen Button ever returns to F1, he will serve a penalty for that. But here comes Fireblaze towards Tabak now. Let's see how he does in this middle sector. 410s flat to the floor until we get towards the swimming pool session. Now coming towards Tabak, when we saw Charles Leclerc stayed a puncher in 2019, overtaking, I think, Nico Hulkenberg, and he clipped his rear tyre with that wall as well. Here goes Fireblaze towards the line. He goes up to P4 in the Ferrari ahead of Happy Meal. Happy Meal was P11, wasn't he, at the in Q1, but he's up by 10.5 in this middle sector. Can keep it nice and composed. Misha goes P. Oh, Happy Meal lost the car at the exit. Massive wheel spin, and I think that lap unfolded, unfortunately, for him. He's in the pit lane, but Misha is up into P5, so he delivered when it mattered. Lucas, however, in P7 there, just on the periphery. He's coming towards now the swimming pool, not the swimming pool section. I think it's the casino square. And Aston Martin has stopped the exit at turn 1. That is Misha for some reason. What's he doing down there? Oh, he's letting people go. So I just saw the driver tracker that he stopped. And Ivan's going through up into P9. And let's see what Ivan does. He's backed off, but I think he could be safe. But both Saabers have been eliminated, I think. Tyson is not on a good lap. He's 3 tenths down in the first sector. And Mummy Nick is coming towards Portier right now. Khatikas is out of Q2. Unfortunately, he will not take part in towards the third hurdle. But Tyson, though, 3 tenths up in the middle sector. Any gain of time. I thought he was down in the first sector. That's what it said. Unless I went aboard the wrong Sauber. Here he is towards the final corner. Let's see if the Dutchman can get himself inside Q3. Can he do it? Yes, he can. He demotes Mel's outside the top 10, but here he is. He has a say. He has a chance to get himself back in it. Is he up, though? He is by 2 tenths, but is it enough? Can Mel's put himself back in towards the top 10? He can, and he pushes Tyson back down towards the elimination zone. Saltavia goes P12, and Mummy Nick stays in P13, and Ivan just makes it through on the bubble, on the absolute limit there. Is Ivan as well in P10, so he just makes it in the McLaren, and there is your top 10 going for pole position in the next part of qualifying. Meanwhile, Tyson, Saltavia, Mummy Nick, Khatikas, and Sheepy Gamer have all been knocked out in this qualifying session. I also want to mention Raskas too, because when I said Charles Leclerc, Milan, being aggressive in towards Raskas, I also thought of somebody else as well. Jules Bianchi, down the inside of Kamura Kobayashi. What a move that was. I think he got a 5-second time penalty for that move, or unless it was something else. But Bianchi was running inside the top 10 in 2014 in the Monaco Grand Prix. He was P8 initially, but Grosjean and Magnussen behind. Magnussen and Raikkonen came to blows in towards the hairpin. I think Magnussen tried to go up the inside of Raikkonen, and unfortunately they both met in the wall. Then Bianchi went through. Bianchi got a 5-second penalty, but his pace was good enough. And Marussia scored their first points in Formula 1 after, I think, the 90th effort or something like that, I think it was, after they debuted as Virgin in 2010. Of course, changed names to Marussia, Mana, and now gone, unfortunately. But they did score the first team point. Bianchi did score Mana's first points in Formula 1 in 2014. The start of the future, of course, destined to go to Ferrari. But yeah, he did an amazing job here in the Monaco Grand Prix in 2014. I remember that race too. That's the race I mentioned where Rosberg won. Hamilton finished in P2 with a eye problem, I think, with his dirty eye. With Ricardo was on the back of him. But yeah, what a great race that was for Marussia and Bianchi. I think the team boss as well, the former team boss of Marussia, is at Cadillac.
Might be actually, but yeah, that certainly was their best result for the team. Of course, Manor did score 1 more point 2 years later at the Austrian Grand Prix with Pascal Wehrlein behind the wheel. He used to be a massive Pascal Wehrlein fan, of course. I drive with number 94. He used to as well, which is one of the reasons why I drive with that number yet. But he got a point as well for the team. So both Wehrlein and Bianchi, two very good drivers. Of course, Bianchi, big what if in Formula 1, of course, due to his accident in 2014. He was certainly a bright star for the future, and we would love to see what he was going to be able to do in the following years. But yeah, a tragedy that was, but a great driver from him certainly back in 2014, getting that ninth place. So, but we move on to Q3, 12 minutes a time, and it's getting busy out on track very early as Erik is the first one to go out, and following him very closely is Robert in the Haas and Happy Meal in the Mercedes there as well, going through the first sector. So now it's all about getting the fastest lap as possible. Of course, that's the well, what you want to achieve in qualifying. But these drivers are going to take a few more risks than through Q1 and Q2. It's going to be all or nothing, because this grid, this position where you are at the end of the session, well, could determine where you might end up finishing in the main race, because it is so difficult to overtake around here. Even more so to overtake cleanly, as Robert cuts across the chicane, getting himself ahead of Erik, which means that he is going to be the first one to start a fly lap. And more drivers coming out of the pit lane, only Kik, Misha and Lucas still in pit lane and waiting a few more minutes to start their initial runs in Q3. But let's see what Robert is going to be able to do in the Haas as he starts his first fly lap here in the final part of qualifying. And we head towards Sainte Devote, the right-hander, going across the inside, go very nicely. A bit of a moment on exit though, as the rear end's wanting to step out, but he corrects it nicely and hasn't lost too much time with it. Now going through Casino Square, very tight to the inside wall, and very good on exit as well. Slight tap on the left-hand side, but it seems like a decent first sector. A bit wide there through Mirror and a bit of a high RPM, as you said, with the downshift. And now going towards fourth here. Mels has retired and he's crashed, I think, after Casino Square. So that's not great news for the RB driver. He hit the inside wall, presumably, and well, finding the barrier, he's going to be starting P10 at best, and he will take no further part in qualifying. But Robert now going towards Tabak, and he hits the inside wall. There's a bit of the wall that's sticking out on the entry of Tabak, and it's a fine line of hitting that, and now smashes into the wall on the exit of the swimming pool, and now he has got front wing damage. So that is obviously a risk that he was going to take, and this time it hasn't paid off for him. Erik in the Alpine, it looks like he has abandoned his flying lap, so has Happy Meal in Mercedes. Van has invalidated. Is there anyone out there who is on a genuine lap at the moment? Kevin might be in the McLaren. Yes, he is. Erik with a 14.8, of course, a few seconds slower than you want to be, but Kevin is on a genuine lap right now, and looking quite rapid, as he always does this season, and he has tonight as well, being quickest in Q1 and Q2. Let's see what this lap time is going to bring him. It's going to be a low lap, or is he on a new set of tires? We're about to find out as he comes out of the final quarter. The McLaren driver is going to make his way towards the finish line. It's going to be an 8.6, not quite as quick as he done in Q2, but still a great bunker lap in Q3. And Fireblaze is a full second off in the Ferrari, but putting his Ferrari now on the front row. As more out there on a flying lap. Lucas just starting one, but Kevin an 8.6. I wonder if that's going to be able to, if anyone is going to be able to beat that here in qualifying.
Only two representative lap times there. Kevin Zumberg and Fireblaze shows the incredible consistency and pace Kevin has inherited so far in league racing. I think he's a PSGL F2 driver, or former PSGL F2 driver, because the season just ended, of course, so we're going towards season 41. But he's very good at delivering lap times. Last season, or a few months ago, look at Erik in P2. Bang on 9.000. We'd love to see it indeed. But Kevin used to be a driver that made a lot of mistakes and couldn't hook up laps, and sometimes he saved his best till last. As Happyville goes up into P3 in a Merc, he's looking for a comeback drive after what happened in Zandvoort, because he was fighting with the lead with the two Williams, but he just pushed too hard, understeered, and he picked up a bit of grass on the entry towards turn 13 in towards the penultimate corner, and he spun around. So it could have been a win. Could have been a podium. He had a podium back in the British GP. Then in Zandvoort, it could have gone 2 steps higher, but unfortunately went backwards. And ever since then, he hasn't recovered. Austrian Grand Prix wasn't a great race for him either, but he's coming in P3 so far here at the Monaco Grand Prix. And P3 is a great place to start as well, considering the amount of traffic and the difficulty in overtaking is going to be. But it's not all about being the fastest as well, being about the most consistent, and who is very methodical in terms of strategy, as Erik bounced over the curb, but of course he has finished his flying lap. On board with Lucas and Robbie Jacobs. We're going to go on board with Lucas first to see what he does in a blue helmet, as he has a massive wobble and slide out of the Massenet corner, is it? I think it is Massenet out of Casino Square. Coming down towards the hairpin now, and now coming towards the slow two corners in towards third or second gear. I saw Kick in the second gear in towards those corners, but of course these drivers have their different preferences as we see them going down towards the chicane. We go, we saw Isaac Hadjar clip the barriers here too in Monaco. It's very easy to do so. He did it in the practice session, but he drove a brilliant race. As Happy Meal says, I crashed a bit in towards the wall. Not good, is it? Crashing towards the wall. Hope you don't do that next time. We're going forward with Robbie Jacobs, and once again he does the exact same thing, rides the wall, so it looks like he's escaping from it, but surely not. Surely he's not going to do it in the race, because if he does, he could end in big contact. Here goes Lucas towards the line. He goes up into P4, does the Williams driver, and that is 3/10 slower than what Happy Meal managed to do in the Mercedes. Misha is coming towards now Portier, but we saw Pascal Wehrlein get flipped upside down. And yeah, back towards Pascal Wehrlein. I liked him as a driver. He was a very consistent driver indeed. And he finished P9 or P10 at the Austrian Grand Prix. He started P12 but fell backwards in Austria, then just clawed his way through. Do you know what as well? That really annoyed me, that the Pascal Wehrlein going from P12 to P10 or falling backwards in a manner too, scoring points for the second time. It just went unnoticed under the radar. I know what happened in Austria as well in that same year in the same race. Nico Rosberg versus Lewis Hamilton up towards turn 3. But at the same time, though, Pascal Wehrlein drove brilliantly. I think he had somebody right behind him too. I'm not quite sure who it was to try and get him at that point away from him. And I think as well, Sergio Perez crashed in towards turn 3 after having a brake failure, fighting with Danny Kvyat. And yeah, it was a really good race. Well, Sebastian Vettel had a tyre blowout too. Multiple things happened in that race as Robbie Jacobs slides his way back into the pit lane. Then Pascal Wehrlein unfortunately sustained injury at the race champion Vettel. I think he crashed, sustained injury, and Antonio Giovinazzi took over. Giovinazzi finished in P12 in Australia. Then he crashed twice in China in the same place in the same corner. I think he won in qualifying. I won in the race too. So yeah, it was a disappointing race for Antonio Giovinazzi. Then Pascal Wehrlein scored Sauber's points. I don't think Ericsson scored a point. Maybe just one in 2017. No, none.
None. No, Ericsson didn't score at all. He didn't in 2016, didn't either. In 2017 was Wehrlein who got all the points, all 5 of them.
Spain.
Yeah, Spain, where he finished 8th place. I think he finished 7th on track, but unfortunately he had a penalty which dropped him down towards P8, but still an incredible result for that Kick Sauber. That absolute tractor it was back in 2017, by far the slowest car on the grid. And then again, normal Sauber. But then again, in Baku, of course, that absolutely crazy race, 2017 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, scored 1 more point in P10. And I finished the championship ahead of Daniel Kvyat was in the Toro Rosso, but then of course didn't finish the season. But such an underrated driver in my opinion, Pascal Wehrlein. And of course, due to the money issues, Ericsson just having more money than him was able to retain that seat in Sauber. Would have loved to see Wehrlein maybe in the Force India potentially, or of course he was in the Mercedes Academy when he joined Formula One, but then dropped out and then went to the Ferrari Academy. But of course, only being there for 2 years, would have loved to see him in a more competitive team. Who knows what he would have been able to do, but of course then, that didn't happen. He joined Formula E, where last year he got himself the championship, DTM champion as well, back in 2015. So he's done quite a good job in his career, but of course a shame that he could show himself more in Formula One. Also one of the what is, but yeah, underrated driver in my opinion. But we've got 2.5 minutes to go here in qualifying. Everyone is out on track. Happy Meal has just started his final lap. At the moment in P3, going over the bump there at the end of Massa. He's improving by a few hundredths of a second in sector 1. Of course, I don't think anyone's going to be able to touch Kevin's time of 108.7 and 108.6. And Happy Meal seems to have backed off after that moment. What about Eric then? He is up by a few hundreds, but he hits the inside wall of Mirabo and then backs off himself. So you really want to get the perfect lap here at the end of qualifying. I was wondering where Robert then through turn 1 really could cross a lot there in turn 1, which gained quite a bit of time. We'll see what he is going to be able to improve after the first sector with the Haas. Already finding almost a tenth of a second. Very close to the inside, but doesn't hit it like Erik did. But then on the exit, hits the inside wall on the kink to the right, but going through the hairpin. Seems clean so far. For Haas hits the outside there, going in towards Portier. Now through the tunnel, flat out, use plenty of battery. And now going in towards that chicane. Let's see if he's going to be able to keep it out of the barrier. Yes, he does. Keeping it nice and safe. Now through the back corner. A bit of a mistake on his first one. Let's see how he's going to be doing it this time. It looks way cleaner. And he's up by 0.5 of a second now. In towards the triple chicane also looks way better for the Haas drive. This could be a very good lap that could challenge Emil or Erik's time at the moment in second and third place. Coming out of the final corner, a very tidy lap it seems for the Haas as he's going to cross the line for what will be a 109.1. Putting him in P3 just ahead of Emil, but a great lap time indeed. And at the moment on the second row.
Kevin Zumberg, I think, has backed off his lap time. He's put the ERS in towards none, so he must have had some sort of issue in the first sector. He's backed out of it for the time being. Lucas as well has also backed out, and Happy Meal has as well. Fireplace coming through the same particular spot. So it looks like some drivers here may have fueled the car for more than one lap, just in case they had a few excursions somewhere across the racetrack. Kick is on a flyer coming out towards the casino square. It towards the right hand. They took a very wide entry. As you can see, hits the barrier on the exit too. 3 seconds up in the first set, as you could tell. This is a very important lap for Kick. The man in P2 in the championship, and he's closely matched with Fireblaze in terms of points as well, and in the constructors. Kick coming towards now the second part, coming towards Portier, very important corner 2 to get a stamp on the power and get going once again. Daniel Ricciardo had to defend from Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton back in 2018 when he had a power unit issue, and luckily he won the Monaco Grand Prix because he lost it 2 years ago. Sorry, not 2 years ago. 2 years prior to 2018, when the mechanics effed up in the pit lane. Not the first time they did that either. It was in 2011 Monaco as well. They tend to have pit stop blunders to Red Bull in Monaco, but that was years and years ago. Head goes Kick now towards Raskas and now Portier. Let's see what Kick can do in the Williams as he applies the power once again. Can the Williams go towards the top? He can! It's an 8.5. Kick is on pole. Unexpected. Kevin Zumberg has invalidated on his lap time, and he will start P2 below unless anybody else can fight him. Erik is down the first sector by a few hundredths of a second there as he now makes his way now towards the back. Let's see what he does in this second sector. 1/10 down in the middle sector. Can he gain any time? Fireblaze goes up as a P3 in the Ferrari, so amazing lap time from him. Happy Meal's behind him as well, Erik, so that could be some disturbance in terms of the turbulent air. Gets a little bit of a toe though, which is not going to be effective. But here comes the two of them. Erik across the line, slides across the line. Happy Meal goes up into P3. He's back up into P3. And Lucas is on an outlap, so he's completely messed that up in the Williams. There he is, just going backwards across the track, and he's done. Wow, Milan. Something unexpected there. It is a Williams on pole, and it is Kick on pole.
Not Kevin on pole. That is crazy. I never would have thought that, seeing how quick the McLaren driver was in qualifying through Q1 and Q2, but unfortunately he messed up his final lap, invalidated, and it's Kick now on pole position around the most important qualifying session of the year. Brilliant lap time in the end, 108.5. So Kevin, he needs to get the move done in another way, maybe at the start of the race or through strategy. But what a result from Happy Meal as well in P3. Fireblaze with a great result in P4, then Erik in P5, Robert in 6th place, Ivan in 7th, Lucas in P8, Misha and down behind the Mels, of course, who crashed early on in qualifying. Could only manage 10th place, but what qualifying session that was, and what an ending, and what a result for Williams and Kick, who needs to outscore Kevin to still have any chance of the championship. Now we can prepare ourselves for the race, which is going to be a two-stop, so it's going to be interesting to see how those strategies are going to be played out and who is going to go for the undercut to try and overtake.
Indeed, you can see on the left side of the screen there, no smoking in the paddock, but Kick is on fire so far. Can he keep it up in the race? Kevin's behind in P2, but there's still a chance for Kevin. I'm not quite sure if second place has the inside line towards turn, or is it the opposite way around? I'm not sure at all, but in the 2025 Monaco Grand Prix, Lando Norris locked up heavily going towards turn 1, defending from Charles Leclerc. And we'll see how it goes then. What's the best Monaco race I remember? 2022 was a decent one, if I remember correctly. 2023 spiced things up as well with the weather hitting and impact the circuit. Fernando Alonso almost took pole position. Imagine if he did, the scenes as well. But Aston Martin did mess up in the pit lane as well by putting on a new set of medium tyres, I think. He finished in P2, but here comes the lights then. 3, 4, 5 lights. I can't see the cars because of the tyre strategies, but we're underway for the Monaco Grand Prix as we head down in towards Turn 1 side by side. But Kevin Zumberg has to back out of it. They're ghosted coming through Turn 1 now. We've got multiple cars scrapping away. Happy Meal's down into P10. He's had some sort of issue as we fire through towards the first set. These cars are ghosted for some reason. A few people drifting and sliding there. Contact is made with the Aston Martin. Eric is ahead of Robbie Jacobs as we head down in towards... contact we go in towards Bilbao. The kick Sauber is in a spin. Very aggressive going down in towards there too, as we now file through in towards the slow speed hairpin, and a few cars getting tangled up like it was back in 2008 with Nick Heidfeld and Fernando Alonso. But the first lap, as you expect, has been messy, and Hazikas is on a set of soft compound tyres. Happy Meal, what on earth happened to him? He's up into P7 now, got dropped into P10. These guys, for some reason, are just ghosted, and hopefully they remain solid once again. But look at this shot. What a lovely shot this is. I'm not quite sure if you've seen the stream, but you can see the harbour, the boats as well, the yachts, as we now come towards the swimming pool section, in towards Raskas we go now to end off the first lap of the race. The Aston Martins almost doing a Sauber. They're back in 2016 and taking each other out. Felipe Nasr and Kevin Zumba took each other out in 2016. And it ruined Sauber's race. They were at the back of the field anyway, but Kick leads by 1 minute, it says.
Well, that is not true, but a clean start for these at the front. After that, absolute carnage down the field, down the midfield at the back. So on both Saubers have been dropped massively behind left as well, was sideways in the hairpin, but it's Kick who leads right now by around a second towards Kevin. It's Kick on the mediums, and Kevin and Farb is both on the hards. And then it's a bunch of drivers on the mediums, Lucas on the hards as well, Geitikas and then both on the softs, and everyone else in between also on the mediums right now. So Kick, he's going to have the tire advantage in the early laps of this race, which is why he's able to already a 7, 8, 10, 9, 10 gap towards Kevin, but he is still able to remain close to the Williams for the time being. Fireblaze dropping behind just a little bit, 1.2 seconds right now, and Eric is going to be in hot pursuit of the Ferrari driver. But where did you put your car alongside? That is the question. Where do you do it cleanly? Because it's so difficult to overtake. It was almost impossible here around Monaco. Maybe a little bit easier on the game than in real life. So something's going on because Geitikas or was it Misha into the pit lane on a lap 2, and makes you wonder if he's got front wing damage or he's just going to go for a very early undercut, which could be a strategy. Him and Sasha both in pit lane, putting on the hards and trying to gain some positions that way. Certainly is an interesting strategy, because they will be in clean air and will be able to push more than those who are all stuck in traffic right now at the front. Kevin is able to maintain the gap towards Kick. It's around 5/6 of a second, so it's good. He's got some good pace on these hards off the line. Fireblade losing a bit more time and is under bit pressure from Eric in the Alpine. He wants to get by as soon as possible because he is on the mediums. He wants to use those mediums in this first interval. Is 1.2 seconds behind as well, followed by Ivan and Happy Meal. But at the front, good job from Kevin by maintaining the gap at the moment towards Kick for under a second for these opening 2 laps.
Indeed, then Kevin can just sit there relaxing. Peter, he's got the pace, he's on the hard compound tyres. Of course, Kick will be suffering later on the Grand Prix on those mini compound tyres. Kevin's a DRS range, but DRS is just totally useless around this track, as Eric then puts the pressure on Fireblaze, who seems to be struggling on those mini compound tyres. Hazikas though go for a very short stint on those soft compound tyres. He's hoping to gain the maximum amount of places, but he's on the mini compound tyre, which is quite a surprise. I thought we were going to see some people doing medium hard, and into pit lane goes Colin in the Haas there as well, who started the back of the field. He's in the pit lane now. The guys at the back, the guys towards the rear end of the field there, can make a pit stop and rejoin and be in clean air, but it's so risky at the front of the field. You don't want to do it because you're going to lose a lot of time and the track position, obviously. So you got to really pick your moment at the right time. But the guys at the rear end of the field don't have really anything to lose, so they can make their pit stops, get those 2 pit stops out of the way, go on the hardcore pad time for the rest of the race, and just see what happens in front of you. But the guys at the top of the field obviously won't do that. They try and wait for other people to pit as well. As the yellow flags down there, Totivi is out of the race, unfortunately. unfortunately, he has crashed in towards the Nova chicane where many people have become a cropper before. Isaac Hadjo, I think, was the latest victim in towards the chicane we go. But Daniel, massive slide there out of Tabak. But thought Tavia's out of the race, unfortunately, and done and dusted for him. I think we saw Brendan Hartley and Charles Leclerc crash there in 2018 as well. Leclerc had rotten luck in Monaco. Daniel's literally sliding through every single corner. I'm on board with him. Or off board, should I say. Lennon gets a 3-second tablet already in this race. He's also on the soft powered tyres, so both Red Bulls choosing the soft powered tyres, but they're just hoping to make up as much ground as they could. And one of the Red Bulls has spun in the final corner. It is Leonard, unfortunately. Right, so I remember talking to a Dutch person, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I always used to say Lennon instead of Leonard. So apologies about that, Leonard. I'll make up for it now and call you Leonard. But he does hit the wall at the exit of turn 1. And he also has broke his wing as well. He's spun in the worst possible place at the final corner. But Kevin Zumberg is right at the back of Kick. He's going for a move. Let's have a look right now. It's super tight between those two. And Kick defends in the middle of the track. And they've lost so much time now because the guys behind have caught up. But Kevin is really applying the pressure. One small mistake all it takes to force Kick into an error. And Kevin goes through. But the Red Bull, in the background has stopped at the exit of Mirabeau. And looks like he's going once again. That is LS3, or Leonard, should I say. But the DRS is wide open. Kevin is really applying the pressure, even though he's on the hardcore powered tyres. He's not willing to give up just yet, and he can be very aggressive as well. Kick has got to watch his mirrors, and being distracted around here in Monaco is not a good thing, because it's so easy to make a mistake. The walls invite you for punishment indeed, and Kick is under massive pressure from Kevin right behind, so have to look backwards, and in his mirrors, he's literally driving on the defence here.
Oh.
And Lennon has retired from this race, and that is not a safety car. So two retirements in the same radius of each other, and a safety car hasn't been deployed. So that's good. We keep going. I really hope this doesn't become a safety car galore type race, because I would really love to finish this race and get my takeaway, but of course still a long way to go in this race, and hopefully there's no safety cars interrupt it.
It was almost looked like an intentional crash for Leonard. He lost his front wing early on in the lap and then just drove straight into the wall at the exit of Mills again, so a very bad drive from him, must be said. But the Kick now in the lead still by 0.7 of a second to Kevin and Fabulous, and Erik all caught up to that brief moment between Kick and Kevin. That's a big moment there for Erik, smashing into the wall in the final corner, losing a lot of time in the process. In the pit lane goes Evan. Ivan in the McLaren doesn't like when I say Evan, so I'll say Ivan, but he's coming into the pit lane for an early stop for the undercut to go onto the hards and to try and perform, well, like I said, the undercut. The yellow flags are out. This time it is Sasha with number 77 who has crashed and reset the track, or he's still facing backwards. Not sure how he's ended up here in the same spot where Mick Schumacher crashed back in 2022, but not a great time for Sasha either. He was slammed into the outside wall for good measure. Let's hope he doesn't try to cause a safety car. He's got front wing damage and then drives straight into the wall again. Looking good right now. Looking at this driver here back in P18. But the fight at the front continues on. Kevin is trying to go for the inside, going into the chicane, side by side. Oh, very close for contact between these two on the exit now. Kevin, he's going to have the inside line going in towards the back. We're side by side for the lead of the race. The McLaren to the inside. What a beautiful move from Kevin, and what perfectly lined up. And he has overtaken Kick in such spectacular fashion, with a clean move here around Monaco, which is so difficult to do. But what a move that was. Kevin into the lead, and Kick immediately dives off into the pit lane to try and perform the undercut from the mediums, and he will be dropping behind right now. Fireblaze has been released in second place, just ahead of Erik and Robbe. Then Happy Meal is 1.6 seconds behind in Lucas on the hards in the sixth place. We'll see where Kick is going to come out of the pit lane compared to, well, who was the competitor? I think it was Misha and Ivan who made their pit stop, but the Kick comes out nicely ahead. He was of course in the leader race, so he should be coming out ahead. He does in some nice clean air, but what a move that was from Kevin, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful, like a ding as they call it in the Netherlands. But yeah, Kevin Zumberg, absolute balls for Kevin there. He trusted Kick. He trusted Kick a lot. Put a lot of faith, put a lot of trust in him. He trusted him not to put him in the wall, and he could get around the Monaco Grand Prix. Remember, Sergio Perez dived up the inside in towards the hairpin, and unfortunately Look at that. Robbie Jacobs is literally wall riding through here as well. And you know the problem with that too? If you wall ride, you scrape your tyres against the barriers. That does pick up tyre wear. I don't know if you noticed or not, but that does add a little bit of tyre wear. And as you can see, the right front tyre is already grained up. It's only 8 lap old as well. As he puts the pressure on Eric in front of him, they're both under the pad as well, is Eric and Robbie Jacobs. So they back at the British GP, Eric sustained the puncher as well, which was a shame because it was running so high and in contention for a win. Remember as well, last season he lost the win towards Robbie Jacobs. We've got more people in the pit lane and as well, Miles Makis, Moe Nick and Shiba Gamer. But yeah, Robbie Jacobs and Eric were teammates last season, the Aston Martin in the at the British GP, and he just lost on the win as well, the final corner did Eric. I think Eric won the sprint race and then Robbie won the actual race. But yeah, they're both together on the track once again, as somebody else has become a cropper in that area. Where's the yellow flag at? It was in that area. I'm not quite sure who though has fallen down the order. Is it? It can't be Kit because of course he just pitted. He's in P7, but somebody else is that a back marker? Oh, it's Sasha Hood. Yeah, I was about to say because I was so confused. I saw Ferrari, who was stationary. I thought it was Fireblaze, but it's not Fireblaze. He's up there in P2. Is the Dutchman? I think just Hood might as well retire in the pit lane because you really don't want to see a safety car interfere, and it will ruin people's races or put people at a massive advantage as well for good measure. Those people could put on the new tyres without losing any places. But if just Hood is driving in anger and hitting walls, you might as well retire. You don't want to interfere with anybody else's races. Let people go, which is fair enough. The Aston Martin and the McLaren, they go side by side. Who's that in towards the final corner? It's Ivan.
Oh.
Who is it? Collins retired in the... Ivan spun! How on earth has that happened? He has spun on the straight. I tried to find him, and Colin has retired at the exit of another chicane. So we're down to 3. 3 people have retired in the same place, and yet there is no safety car being deployed. So it looks like that's the safe space to crash, it seems. And the Racing Bull... Oh, who else has dropped out of the order? We've got so many yellow flags and so many people dropping out like flies, and Misha is one of them as well, down in P10, and just the Aston Martin's got off.
Straight on.
Misha, safety, please be VSC. Yes, thank God for that, it's a VSC. A VSC has been deployed. VSC has been deployed, and luckily the race is neutralised for like just a few minutes. No safety car indeed. But where is the leaders? Kevin Zumberg is coming towards the final corner, and in the pit lane he goes. This is a big chance. Oh, Fireblaze! No! Why? A drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSC. Why do you need to risk it? Why? Why do you need to do these things? It's just incredibly stupid. Yeah, like you said, man, like, we're going to make it simpler playing, but it's just a very stupid thing to do. And kick as well. Kick, man. Why are these people risking it? There's no need. And Kick wasn't going to gain anything from that either, and he's way far behind. So second and third place have picked up drive-through penalties, and I got memories as well of Fireblaze picking up penalties for no reason, well, for a reason, but in the most bizarre ways and silly ways as well. There was just no need. Did Fireblaze this season get a drive-through penalty? It could have been JSR, but he's missed out on so many crucial points, podiums as well, and potential wins due to these silly mistakes. And Kick, unfortunately, has suffered the same fate. So Eric and Lucas will be promoted up to 1 place after these 2 will serve a drive-through penalty. But it's so frustrating. I just can't. And just Hood has retired the exit at turn 1. And now a safety car has been deployed. You know what? If this happens all night long, I might as well get gone.
This is going to be a long race at the stage. But Sasha crashing out, he's got Hood in his name, but you can remove that right now. It's very bad drive from him, must be said, as he is out of the race as well. Plenty of moments. Retirement number 5, safety cars being deployed as a result. But man, Firebase and Kick, just why? They just want to give the win to Kevin, I suppose. We now got ourselves a safety car. Of course, everyone is under that VSC or before that. So we're not going to see any more pit stops. Maybe from guys in P9 who's on 7 lap on mediums, but and Robin now. Robin doing only 1 lap on the hards, and he's now going to make his second stop. And it's not a bad decision because he can get his second stop out of the way, but well, he's going to have to do 28 laps on the hards, which is a very long way. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to try and make it to the end, because he's on the pad as well. So tire wear is horrendous on controller. So I doubt that he'll be able to make it to the end on these tires, but he doesn't lose too many positions, so might as well get those fresh tires, even though he only had one lap on those hards. So also the pit lane was Geitenkaas like I expected, going for a new set of hards, dropping down P14, and Ivan in P15, we saw had that moment with Misha down this very corner. Coming out of it, they went side by side in towards the final corner. They made contact down as that finished straight. And unfortunately, Ivan spun around. I don't think he got damaged, but he lost a lot of time, a lot of positions, and finds himself well outside the top 10 in the last place, P15. So it's a McLaren sandwich as it stands. Well, if you ignore the Aston Martin safety car, but Kevin's still in the lead, and the two drivers directly behind him have got themselves a drive-through penalty, which they cannot serve under safety car conditions. So that is even more bad news for Fireblaze and Kick. So Erik now finds himself in the net P2 with Lucas in the Williams in P3, and Lucas, he's on the mediums. The two cars ahead, both on the hards, and Kevin and Fireblaze also on the mediums, and everyone else behind on the harder compound tires. So with different strategies coming into play, it seems like, but yeah, we've got that safety car to neutralize the race here on lap 12. Let's see how that is going to unfold when we go back to green flag in lap or two.
Indeed, and also, like you said, Robbie Jacobs, Geitenkaas, and Ivan have served their mandatory pit stops. So that's 2 stops and done and dusted. But like you said, have Robbie Jacobs make those tyres go towards the end of the Grand Prix. It is easy defended. So a tight offset is probably nothing around here. It depends how big of a tight offset. You need like 15, 20 laps to make it work. But if like the tight offset's very low, it's just super difficult to overtake around here as well. Wasn't it who got stuck behind someone? Was it Lewis Hamilton stuck behind Pierre Gasly and Sebastian Vettel as well after they jumped them in the pit lane, and Hamilton rejoined behind both of them whilst we had the Lord Stroll moment with the replays. Yeah, traffic is horrendous around here as well. Even with a tyre offset, it's just so difficult. Even with a power unit issue, it's so difficult as well. As Daniel Ricciardo, where Sebastian Vettel was chasing him down for the lead of the Grand Prix. Now, of course, I wanted Vettel to win because he's my favourite driver, but of course, I like Ricciardo too, so I actually didn't mind who won that race. But in terms of the championship fight, overall, I wanted Vettel to win after being a Sebastian Vettel supporter, and he missed out as well, with Ricciardo defended beautifully against Sebastian Vettel, and Hamilton, I think, finished in P3 at the time. But the safety car is in at the end of this lap, and we can get racing once again then. Kevin Sundberg will slow the pack down as all the guys behind will bunch up in the field. The crowd, we're very much still awake in this race despite the safety cars, etc. But here we go towards the final couple of corners. Kevin Sundberg doesn't have to be worried about Fireblaze or Kick. He knows both of them have got a drive to penalty, so he can control their own race. As Kick did hit the back of Fireblaze going in towards Raskas there. But coming towards the final corner now, Kevin can get his foot on the gas, and we are away then for the safety car restart. Head up to lap 14 at 39. Kevin Sundberg leads going down in towards turbo. Fireblaze right behind on those medium compound tyres. Mel's Mackey picking up a penalty in the first corner, which is quite bizarre as well. So it's taking too much curb going in towards turn 1 there. And look at the Haas right to the back of Happy Meal going in towards the... Oh, he goes a bit deep there. We saw Scott, I think we saw Sebastian Bourdais and David Coulthard crashed there as well back in 2008. As we see him down the inside, contact is made, and Robbie Jacobs spins out Happy Meal as well. Happy Meal, it can be quite sad, unfortunately, for him as he rejoins down in P15. He will not be a happy bunny indeed in that Mercedes there, driving under. Well, ever since lap 1, he made a big mistake on lap 1. I'm not sure what happened to him because, of course, the pit stop strategies interrupted it. It took the whole screen up for some reason, and it dropped down so many places as we head down towards now. Oh. Oh my goodness. One of the funniest retirements I've ever seen. He's out of the race, is Robbie Jacobs, and that's just as for Happy Meal. He's out of the race. Fireblaze and Kick has pitted then. I've never laughed like that on stream. And it's like turn 3 in Saudi Arabia, turn 4 in Saudi Arabia when someone hits the inside wall there. It's just so funny, and that's how it happened.
Strange moment indeed, in the 6th or 5th driver to crash in that exact corner. So we move down to 14. Farmers and Kick serving their drives through, coming out on P13 and P14. We're putting Mummy Nick in P5 right now, with both cars ahead of him having penalties. He on a net podium place, Mummy Nick, which is absolutely insane. Think about Dice as well inside the top 10. So some of these drivers could get some incredible results tonight with others having their issues. But of course, same can't be said for Kevin, who is quick as always, dominant as always, finds himself in the lead by 4.5 seconds. But even him can make just a slight mistake and hit that same wall. So he has to be careful for the remainder of this race. Still a long way to go, 24 after this one. And now Erik in second place, chased by Lucas and Mels in P3 and P4. Dominic is starting to drop behind a little bit. Firebase, he's on those mediums. He's a good 3 seconds behind the rest of the field. Hamil down there as well. In Mercedes, after that early moment we've seen in P12, look at this train of cars behind TVH NL. In P8 in the Mercedes, got Thijs, Geitenkaas, Ivan and Hamil all for company. So both Mercedes in this train. As we go on to lap 16 of 39, Kevin keeps extending that lead, being on the mediums. He will be quicker at, well, he's always quicker than everyone else, it seems like, in these races. But there's a move being made. Geitenkaas goes up the inside of Thijs in towards Casino Square. Well, a bold move from the Red Bull. He's made it work. And he's up into P9. And now Ivan is going to try and go up the inside. There's not a lot of space to go there. But he still puts his McLaren to the inside. We go side by side in towards the hairpin with Taisi and Ivan on the exit. Does he give enough space? Yes, he does. And Taisi drops back another position as Ivan goes through in McLaren up to P10. You have to be brave on some of these moves. You won't get past because it's just so tight around this track. And certainly has been. Geitenkaas now going to settle to the inside of TVH, now going in towards the game. Wheel to wheel we go. The Mercedes and the Red Bull. Oh no! And they almost come to a complete stop there. And both lose out plenty of positions due to wheel hogging with each other. Geitenkaas now behind Fireblaze, who has gone through in the Ferrari. TVH now dropped down to P11, and Happy Meal, Thijs and Ivan all say thank you very much and take those two positions. They are now released into some clean air in P8, but a bit of an interesting moment between TVH and Geitenkaas tried to go for the move, but unfortunately they made ever so slightly the slightest contact, and Geitenkaas back down in P13 and Firebase now looking at the back of the Mercedes, trying to find a way past. Maybe the exit there, going towards the Square. He's going to go to the inside of the Mercedes, says, oh, very close to the wall, and now going to the inside. He's going to have the better line, and yellow flags are out up ahead. I'm not sure who's for. It is Daniel in the Alpine who has spun out of Massenet. He's gone down to P10. Whilst Fireblaze and Geitenkaas both get the move done on TVH and 2 positions down to P13. So Geitenkaas in the end does get the position, but in the process he did lose 3 or 4 positions more than he would have wanted. He would have been in P7 or 8, I think, when they made that move. But plenty of moves being made, must be said. Fireblaze now looking at the back of the Alpine. Is he going to send him to the inside? Yes, he is later on the brakes potentially, but not late enough, clearly. Now he has to stop him behind. In the meantime, Kick finds a way past TVHNL, who drops down to P14. But, well, I must say, quite a bit of action around this track.
It is indeed. A lot of drivers desperate to overtake. And that car park as well, going in towards the no chicane, reminded me of Kimi Räikkönen. And Daniel's in the pit lane, he broke his wing. It reminded me of Kimi Räikkönen and Magnussen when they both stopped at the hairpin. But, of course, in a different part of the track where Geitenkaas stopped with TVH and now as we head down towards the first corner. Fireblaze there now released in clean air. I think he's done, yeah, he needs to do another pit stop as well to Fireblaze. He's generally drives for penalty. He needs to do one more stop to get onto a new set of tyres to make that mandatory rule. But Kevin Zumberg is absolutely flying. The gap is 6.0 seconds between himself and Erik. Erik on the hardcore power tyres, so may gain some time back on Kevin, but Kevin's been in control. He may not take a pole around here in Monaco, but he's put the pressure on, especially on Kick, who, well, he got past around the outside with a ballsy move, and he made it stick as well. What a fantastic race so far from the Dutchman in first place, and he's controlled the pace really well. Good time management, good strategies, good overtake as well from this man in first place. The gap's gone down to 5.3, so, well, 5.7 now, because it just fluctuates up and down, so continuous time changes there between first and second place. Lucas is 1.1 away from Erik. He does have a 3-second time penalty. So does Mels Marcus as well. Mels has driven a decent race so far as well, has the Racing Bull driver. 2.1 seconds away. He does have a 3-second time penalty as Ivan gets ahead of Sheepy Game as we head down in towards turn 1. As somebody else has retired. Oh. That's the 4th driver He was crashed into what, fifth, sixth, if you want to include Hatzikast and TVHL, who has become a cropper down there. But that's the sixth driver, unfortunately, who has been. Well, we've got 6 drivers out of the race and 13 left to go, and we're at our usual driver attendance here with 30 people, sometimes 14, 15. But yeah, we're getting less and less every single time. As happened to be on like Tyson, have a bit of a moment going in towards the hairpin there. Tyson gets ahead. He's up into P8, whilst his teammate Muminick is in P5. Like you said, he could be challenged for a podium, but unfortunately, he doesn't have the pace to contend with Miles Macus and Lucas in P3. And Lucas, once again, get a bit of his teammate. Remember as well, Kick gave up a win. Kick hasn't won a race this season other than the sprint race. And for some reason, he gave a win towards his teammate Lucas. That was so kind of him to do so indeed. Kick deserved that win. He made the move on Kevin. He forced Kevin into a mistake, under pressure. He disposed of Happy Meal and pulled away from him. He led all the race after that. But for some reason, Kick is too nice and gave the win towards Lucas, and that could be handy points in terms of the Driver Championship indeed. But Kevin is way too far ahead for the time being. Happy Meal puts the pressure on Tyson in front of him in the Kick Sauber there as we go up towards the hill now, towards the Casino Square. Looking for a move. It's a bit too tight going down there. Don't want to risk it, but maybe going in towards Mirabeau. He might have broke him. I see some good moves going towards Mirabeau before. I think one of them was Sergio Perez going down the inside here as well a couple of years ago. Almost shoved against the wall. Was Happy Meal there as he looks for a switchback under and over, but cars seem to do so. Tyson's under massive pressure there, trying to put the car in the middle of the road. But Happy Meal there. Can he get a decent exit? He has a massive wheel spin. Same with Tyson too. With the little battery he has, he can't get himself closer towards the Kick Sauber. And he's too far back to make any sort of lunge going down towards the hairpin. We saw the chicane, sorry. We saw, was it Sergio Perez making some decent moves here back in 2013? He was under pressure in the McLaren because he was underperforming in the McLaren, was Sergio Perez, as Tyson hits the wall. And Perez was doing a really good job, and he was inside the top 10 fighter with Kimi Raikkonen. And then, of course, those two came to blows after Sergio Perez tried to do his trademark move and retire from the race. Here was a 0 was Sergio Perez, and he left McLaren after that race too. I can't remember what best result Perez picked up in McLaren. Could have been Bahrain early in the season when him and Button clashed multiple times. But yeah, 2013 wasn't a good year for Sergio Perez in the McLaren.
Certainly wasn't, but someone who does have a good year in the McLaren is Kevin out in front, who leads by 6 seconds now towards Eric, 6.3. But Kevin, he's nearing the end of the stint. The mediums do not have endless life, as Happy Meal seems to find a way past. No, he hasn't, and there they are, both the ball in the hairpin, like Magnussen and Raikkonen 11 years ago. And Happy Meal is stationary. Tyson was there as well. Could have seen that coming, both dropping down the order, and through go Kick, Krijtkaart and Farbreis raced into some clean air. So plenty of collisions, plenty of contact has been made so far in this race, and we're only just halfway through. Well, a little bit more than that. But we still got a long way to go, 17 laps after this one. But now we have Farbreis in clean air. He's also got 10 laps only medium, so he will come in quite soon as well for his final pit stop. And speaking of pit stops, the entire top 5 need to make one. Stupid Gamer and Farblaze as well, and Kick, Tyson all only on one stop, and into the pit lane pulls Farblaze, just like I said. So he is going to go for potential undercut, putting on the final set of parts to make it to the end of the race. And he will be dropping out behind Happy Meal and ahead of the so between the two Mercedes, but in some clean air to try and gain any position through that. Also his tires must have been worn out by that point. So Kevin and Lucas will be coming in soon as well for their final pit stop. Eric's still not gaining time on Kevin and picking up a 3-second time penalty now as he goes through the chicane. Just got across a little bit too much. And he finds himself now with a penalty, but he doesn't have to worry too much about that because he is 6 seconds behind Kevin. And he's 3 seconds ahead of Lucas, who also got a penalty, and Males P4 also got a 3-second time penalty. He doesn't have to worry about losing position, but it will hamper his process of getting a position. He spins around, gets spun as going in towards the final corner, resets the track. What the hell was that from Erik? That was a really strange moment from Alpine. Not sure what happened there. He just threw his car to the right and spun around, almost like he decided too late to go into the pit lane. But that was one of the strangest spins I've ever seen in league racing, and Eric now drops down to P3, and now Kevin has got almost a 10-second lead towards Lucas. That was some really strange stuff. And Eric now behind Williams, both with a 3-second time penalty, and this is going to be a genuine fight between these two, and Lucas will be coming in earlier because these mediums will wear out eventually, and Erik is going to be able to continue on for a few more laps on these hards. So Lucas now in a net second place, with Kevin up the road 10 seconds as it stands, but a really strange moment there from the man who was in second place since the safety car restart. But we've got 16 laps to go after this. Let's see if Kevin is going to be diving off to the right side to make his final stop. He's got the clean air, he's got the space to do so, but he's going to stay out for at least one more lap. And what about Lucas then? Our new man in second place, who under massive pressure from Erik hitting the back there of the Williams, is going to stay out. Erik though is going to pull to the pit lane from the hard, so he's not going to stay out for a few more laps. He is going to make his final pit stop going on to lap 24, and I think he's got another set of hards to wait for him. Yes, he does. So he is going to go for the undercut on Lucas rather than the other way around. Let's see where he is going to come out behind Ivan, but should be still ahead of Geir de Gaas in the Red Bull in P7. Yes, he is. So a nice patch of clean air for Erik. So he will be able to get the undercut done for sure. Thijs also into the pit lane in the Kick Sauber for his final pit stop. He will be working behind Fireblaze, who made that earlier pit stop as well in the Ferrari. But now we've got Kevin and Lucas out in front, both on the mediums, and both will be pulling into pit lane very soon indeed to make their final swap onto the hards.
Indeed, Dad. So one more pit stop. There is 15 laps left to go in this race, and Kevin Zumberg has controlled this beautifully. I think he's just waiting for the guys behind to pit as well, so he could do his last mandatory pit stop and kick his right to the rear of Gattekas as well, as we head through Portier going down towards the chicane. Gattekas rode the curve on the outside. I don't really see many people taking that route going in towards the Portier section. As we head down towards Nova Chicane we go, where this is the best chance to overtake, ironically, even though it's DRS going in towards turn number 1. But Sheepy Gamer gets a 3-second tablet, and if you get a good run out of Portier, stay behind and try and dive up the inside, then you may have a good chance. I think the only overtake we saw this year, Gattekas has gone deeper towards the corner, so Kick might be invited up the inside, but can't seem to make it work for the time being. The only overtake we saw this year in Formula 1 in Monaco was Lawrence Stroll, and he did it around the outside of one of the Kick Saubers in towards the chicane. I'm not quite sure if people saw that. It wasn't broadcasted for some reason, even though it was the only overtake on the track. It wasn't even broadcasted. And it was a lovely move. Even if you are a Lawrence Stroll hater, which majority of people are, still going to respect it, because Kick almost lost it, and he almost spun to the exit of the corner there. Massive wheel spin. His tyres are 17 up old hard, and you can definitely tell there's grain in those tyres too. It's visually ingrained there on the screen for you. You can see it. And his right front tyre is looking very messy as well, so a pit stop might be necessitated for the Williams driver as well. Gattekas in the other Red Bull there, struggling too. The only Red Bull in this race after Leonard retired early doors. And Muminick is up to P3. Ivan is catching those slowly but surely, and Eric's right there too in P5 on a brand new set of hardcore power tyres. Now, Eric's in a bit of a predicament here as well in P5, looking to the undercut, but he's behind Ivan. Let's see how quickly can he dispatch him. Will he get stuck behind him? And you don't want to get muddled up in contact as well, because yes, you want to overtake and not lose too much time. Yeah, he does set the fast for the race as well, but at the same time though, you've got to make sure you do it cleanly and clinically as well. Lucas gets another penalty. That's 6 seconds added towards his total, so he could be in a little bit of danger towards the end of the race. But Lucas has rejoined behind Eric. Eric has gained a massive undercut, and here we go. This could be a bold, brave move. It is, but I don't think if Ivan was fighting too hard against that, because he knew he couldn't fight it. So what's the point? You don't want to really ruin somebody's race if you're not in the same race as them. So might as well let them go and focus on your own race. His own race is Muminick. Look at Eric getting all scribbly out of the two right-handers there, the slowest part of the track, as now we make our way through the tunnel where Michael Schumacher crashed here back in 2004. As we exit down towards the Nova Chicane we go. Muminick, Kevin Zumberg is in the pit lane on this lap. He should come out in first place. It's a massive gap he's got with second, so he should have no problem pitting in and out and ahead of these drivers. But Eric is stuck behind Muminick. How much of a headache is that Kick Sauber going to be? We're about to find out anytime soon, but he's right at the back of him. Got to make sure he doesn't make any sort of contact, because it's a big chance for him to be on the podium. There's a massive gap, massive wheel spread. So he needs to make this overtake cleanly, which he does. DRS open and overtakes him. He's open to P2, and that was a very easy move indeed. I don't think Nick really cared about that, because he knows his fight is with Ivan. And look at the gap, 2.1 seconds there. And Eric lost a lot of time behind those two cars. So I'm wondering if he hadn't got stuck, would he got ahead of Kevin Zumberg as Gas and Mel's going side by side here. Mel's on a new set of hardcore power tyres, and they make contact as well up the hill. Gas there, not ready to yield and give up just yet, but he had to, as Happy Meal is in the pit lane. We're down to 13 people. I think every single driver, well, barring 2 or 1, Mummy Nick, hasn't served their second pit stop just yet. So Mummy Nick is left out there in the field, who hasn't served a second pit stop as well. So he could be tumbling down the order. But Lucas is right behind the McLaren driver. The McLaren vulnerable on old hardcore power tyres. Lucas as well needs to find a way to get past him, otherwise he gets stuck behind and lose even more time as well. He has a 6-second penalty, so he really can't afford to waste any time stuck behind these two. But overtaking is easier said than done, of course, as we make our way now towards the final 2 corners with the DRS open. Lucas needs a good exit, but that's not going to help his case. A massive slide there as the rear end of the car, the instability of it wasn't helping him whatsoever as we head down in towards turn 1. Lucas once again gets stuck behind the McLaren, and Ivan is fighting with Nick. I don't think Ivan has to. Do you know what? Ivan doesn't have to pit again, you know. He's done his second stop. Let's have a look to see if he has on the. He has. He's done 2 stops in this race. Medium, hard. He pitted quite early in the race too. Despite all the trouble he's been through, it's 11 laps left to go in this race, and Lucas has got to overtake him quickly as well. He's got to overtake him quickly, because if he doesn't, that means that he can't build up a 6-second gap over Ivan. So this is a battle for position. The difference is, though, he's on much younger tyres. You expect to get past, but Ivan won't give up. I think he knows this is a fight for podium, despite being on older tyres. So watch out for this. This could get very intense and heated up for the final spot on the podium. But Lucas now, he could be in a bit of trouble here as well in P5 with that 6-second penalty. Knowing he got to, did he overtake? Well, once he's done the overtake, Milan, it should be easy, build up a 6-second gap. But overtaking will be hard.
Yeah, it's very difficult to overtake, but he's so close to the back of the McLaren. But now the McLaren has DRS himself as well, so he's not going to be able to make the move down the start-finish straight, but maybe at the end of it, because he's got that 14-lap tire advantage. And Mominik up ahead, 20-lap old hard tires, still staying out, maybe hoping for a safety car, so you can maintain his speed right now. Penalty in the background. Ivan going slightly wide through square now. Here's Williams going to try and go up the inside. Looks to the move, but doesn't go for it. He makes contact going through Mirabeau. Now maybe to the inside of the hairpin. Not quite either. He's still stuck behind the McLaren for now. And Ivan is doing a great job defending his position at this stage of the race. Now maybe coming out of fourth here. He is very close to the back of the McLaren. It might be landing a move to go to the inside. In towards again the Williams of Lucas is going to try and go to the inside, but Ivan is later on the brakes, and look at that, is able to maintain his position. Lucas unable to make the move despite having such a tire advantage. And now back up briefly to not get hit with the dirt there through here, but what a great job Ivan is doing in P4 right now to maintain his position. And once Mominik pulls into the pit lane, as far away as a penalty for track limits, but once Mominik pulls into the pit lane, Ivan will be released into clean air, and for the final 10 laps we'll try to defend against Lucas, and the longer Lucas stays behind McLaren, the bigger the chance for Ivan to remain on the podium, because Lucas, he will only have a few laps to build that 6-second lead once he gets past. If he has 10 laps to do so, then he will certainly be able to, but now he's going to have to go once again maybe towards Mirabeau, very close between, but still Ivan later on the brakes and able to maintain position. Now trying to switch to the inside, looking for the move, but left and right, Lucas still not able to make the move on the McLaren, who was the widest McLaren possible here around Monaco. And now once again, Lucas with the better action, with the better traction, with the tires. Is he going to go for the move, or is Ivan going for the move? Not quite looking to the inside, but not going for it, which makes Lucas unable to make any attempt to overtake the McLaren into the water braking zone, and another lap is gone. 9 to go after this now, so PPK and Tyson both into the pit lane for the softs and the mediums. But still, Ivan is doing just enough, hits the wall slightly there in the exit of the swimming pool section. And Mominik's staying out, but now he's going to pull into the pit lane, and now Ivan is released into clean air. But now on the next lap onwards, he will not have to DRS down the start finish straight. And look how close Lucas is. If the McLaren does not DRS on the next lap, and if the Williams of Lucas is that close, he might be able to line up a move. In the meantime, kick found the way past Gas to go up to 7th place, and both Williams trying to go forward. Mominik just late stop, drops all the way down to P9. But he is on a brand new set of mediums, and with the drivers ahead of him having penalties, he might still be on for a good 7th place right now in this race. But for how much longer is Ivan going to be able to hold up the Williams? Mels is joining in this fight as well, who has got the younger stars of this three. But now look at the exit, look how close Lucas is to the inside as you go. It will be the outside line going in towards the chicane. We're going side by side through the tunnel. Ivan on the inside, Lucas trying to go late on the brakes and going side by side. There's a bit of contact between the two on the exit now. Sure, the Williams will have the better traction, more contact, and now finally he's going to get the move completed. And Lucas is up into P3, but what a fight between those two. And Ivan definitely put up the fight against him. As Kevin now picks up a 3-second time penalty, he will not have to worry about that. He's 6 seconds clear of Erik, and that gap is going to be extending for these final laps. And here's Mels to the inside in towards Rastgas, and Ivan drops another position and is now down to B5. And now Mels and Lucas both will need to build that gap towards the McLaren, who is on 21 lap old hard tires. So it shouldn't be too difficult to build a gap, but they've only got 7 or 8 laps to do that. So they need to get the move on right now. Kick in P6 in the Williams. I wonder if he's going to be able to close that gap down, because he is going to be so much quicker as Mominik gets past Gas, and the medium runner Mominik on the mediums is up to P8, and now is going to try and change out the Fireblades, who pitted 10 laps earlier on to those hards. But now Lucas is released, and immediately he's got a 2.7 second gap towards Ivan. So I'm sure it's not going to be an issue for him to build that 6 second gap towards the McLaren driver. In the meantime, happy who gets past Gas. Gas is really struggling on these hards. He's done 20 laps on them, and he might have to make another stop.
Indeed he is there. Whilst that battle was happening between Lucas and Ivan, something happened 2-3 laps ago. It was, I think, TVH&L and Sheepa Gamer came to blows at the up the hill where Perez, Magnussen and Hulkenberg crashed in 2024, I believe it was. Those two crashed, and a Red Bull or Racing Bull has gone off the track there as well in towards Turn 1. That was Sheepa Gamer having a bit of a moment in towards Turn 1 on a new set of soft compound tyres. So I'm intrigued to see how that happened. But the podium, though, is it Ivan? Is it Mels? Is it Luke? Oh, he almost lost it there, did Sheepa Gamer. But is it Ivan? Is it Lucas? Is it Mels? Mels could get a podium for the first time in the season. His best result was P5 earlier on in this season, and P7 as well. So a trip to the podium could be on for the Racing Bull driver, who has been running his business, his own race so far, who started out in P10, and he's up into P4 with great strategy, good pace, but one more penalty, and then it's over. And 1 second as well. Oh, Sheepa Gamer hit the entry towards the Nova chicane. He gets a 10-second penalty for corner cut as well. There is the Williams in the background. I think that's kicked on the horizon very soon. But yeah, now we've got 13 people in this race. Pretty much the gaps are separated. The closest battle so far is Mominik and Fireblades, as Kick gets a 3-second penalty. But I don't think Ivan can hold on to this in P3. I think he's done now for the battle of the podium. But he might get Lucas, depending if the gap goes up towards 6 seconds between himself and Lucas. But Mominik, though, right behind Fireblades. Here we go, as we head down towards the swimming pool section. We don't really see many fights between these two. I know they're pretty close. Oh, Mels! Right now, they're equal on penalties. So I don't think Mels will get a podium. Oh, Mominik lost at the final corner in towards Anthony Nose. Massive wheel spin. But of course, on much younger tyres, on the mediums, of course, in P8. And so far in the points, once again, inside the top 10. So he's run a super solid race. Same for Ticey, but unfortunately he's down in P12. He's also sustained a bit of contact in towards this race as well. But this is now the close battle on the track between Mominik and Fireblaze. Ivan's done a really good job in P5 to come back through the order and secure P5. Sheepa Gamer is out of the race, and a VSC has been deployed there, so nobody needs to panic for the time being. But is anybody thinking about a cheeky pit stop? I don't think they are. Maybe, I don't think it's worth it now. I think we're pretty much now settled into this race towards the end. There is 5 laps left to go, so nobody is thinking about a pit stop. But look at that, TVH&L is up into P11. Remember, he started down in P19. I always say he always finds himself inside the top 10 one way or another. He's in P11 right now. 5 laps left to go. He could find himself inside the top 10 depending if anything happens. But we always forget to mention him sometimes, because there he is. Let's give him a bit of screen time in P11. Once again, did an amazing job. He's very consistent in terms of finishing races. Yes, he had a few blunders at the Dutch GP when he spun around a few times, but still finished the race in P9. But here he is in Mercedes winning a Lewis Hamilton helmet, number 44 there. A great helmet indeed. But my favourite helmet from Lewis Hamilton was, of course, 2020. DRS has been enabled, so the racing resumes as the VSC has disappeared, but I'm pretty sure we all know why. The helmet from 2020 is my favourite colour because it's purple, pretty much the same with indigo as well. I love that. I love that. It was one of the best helmets ever, in my opinion. I know other people got different opinions as well. The 87 helmet was very good as well. But there's 12 races left in this Grand Prix. We started with a full grid. We're down to 12. And let's see if anybody else retires from this race.
The fight still going on between Fireblaze, Mominik, and Happy Meal. Happy Meal has joined in on this fight. Mominik is getting stuck behind the Ferrari driver. And the Mercedes is closing in on that fight for P7 in this race. Is Mominik now going to be finally able to go for the move? Not quite. He's not using the battery at all. And Fireblaze still holding up the Kick Sauber right and now. And Happy Meal is looking to take advantage of that. Maybe nip a wheel up the inside of Mominik in one of these corners and catch the Kick Sauber driver off guard. As there was a conflict in and Erik is out of the race. The Alpine has crashed in Mastele from second place of this race, and that is huge. Well, not for the championship, but certainly for this race because it allows Luca to take that second place and Mels to be on the podium. But wow, what a moment there as Mominik finally gets away past Fireblaze. Will be sixth place after he gets past the stricken Alpine. But well, another mistake from Erik, and this one ends his race. That is big news here at Monaco. From second place was in a comfortable position to finish there, but just kept the inside wall and out he is, and that makes 11 runners, and that brings Steve Chanel inside the top 10 after all of that. And with Ticey in P11, the only runner outside the points. But wow, certainly not expected to see the Alpine driver crashing out with just a few laps to go. And Ivan now picks up a 3-second time penalty. That is going to make his life way more difficult because kicked behind, he has got a 15 lap tire advantage. Also has got a 3-second time penalty, but he will be much quicker in these final 3 laps. So it's going to be a fight between the McLaren and the Williams for P4. I think Mels is in a pretty comfortable position to finish on the podium, which would be an incredible result for him as well. As a kick, I don't think he's going to be able to close 3 seconds after he gets past the McLaren. If he gets past the McLaren, but look how close he is on the exit as we go up the hill. The Williams in hot pursuit of that 4th place, but Ivan has just got himself a bit more ERS to play around with and is able to maintain a position, but he's almost pushing his way through the corner. Now kick, is he going to go for the move? Oh, that was very close as he almost squeezed into the wall there by the McLaren. They could have ended both their races, and he's going to decide to stay behind. Last Ivan is completely holding up the Williams there through the lowest hairpin, and with 2 laps to go. Once getting across the line, there's a big moment coming out of port here, and Ivan has lost a lot of straight line speed. And now here comes Kick. Is he going to go to the outside or on the inside, going into the chicane? Neither of them. He's going to stay behind Ivan later on the race. We've seen that multiple times in his race, and that is a big slide there from Kick mid corner as he tries to find a way past. Find a way around the McLaren, but at the moment still unable to do so. Ivan now, being in none to get some battery back to use down the start finish rate. Kick now maybe cheeky sent in towards Raskas, not quite either, as he hits the back of the McLaren. He now is going to have to DRS down this start finish rate. Bit of a moment out of the final corner, and I don't think he's going to be able to put his Williams alongside, or is he? Trying to go around the outside, and there's no space there as the McLaren driver shuts the door. And now on the exit, great exit from Kick, and once again they go side by side, but the Williams driver has run out of battery once more, and Ivan is putting up such a great defense to maintain in that 4th place of this race. And after all of that, Mominik, he is closing the gap down rapidly. He's 4.5 seconds behind. He could still very much be on there for a P4 finish if Kick is unable to get past Ivan. So it could be an incredible result for Mominik if he gets the gap under 3 seconds. He's close to doing that, 3.6, because Ivan is so slow on these hards. Kick needs to get away past as soon as possible to still have any chance of that 4th place. Now maybe going in towards chicane. Is he going to go to the inside? No, as Ivan places his McLaren in the middle of the road and defends successfully. And Mominik now 3.4 seconds, 3.2, and goes out of the chicane. This could be an amazing day for Kick, Sauber and Nick.
It is indeed. Ticey the gap was like 6.6. Now it's 1.7. I told you TVH and it's on the top 10, but he's got Ticey coming after him at a rate of knots. And Kick is right behind Ivan as well. Mummy Nick, with no penalties, could be up into 4th place. Well, he will be now because he's within that DRS penalty window. But as we head down towards turn 1, Kick once again so frustrated behind the McLaren driver. He's a blockage in the way, losing so much time as we go through up the hill. No way up the inside here. Is there contact is made? And can't they spin around? If that isn't a spin, the Kick is eventually through. Mummy Nick is up at a P5. What a shame for Ivan there. He will be happy as Kick has a massive lock-up going towards the Murbo corner. But all eyes now to this man in 1st place. Ticey is right at the back of TVH now. He's behind the leader. But out the final corner he goes. And it's a perfect performance today from Kevin Zundberg as he slows down towards the line there. And he's doing donuts. He has time for that. He has 21 seconds in hands to do a donut. But starting from P2, he wasted no time. That was barely any donuts indeed. But he wasted no time taking control of the race and never looked back. From the moment he hit the front, Kevin was simply untouchable. Lap after lap, clean, consistent and commanding. It was an absolute statement drive today, a masterclass in pace and race management. He led from the early stages and handled everything in the field throughout him today. The pressure, strategy, traffic, like a true professional as Kevin is. Kevin Zundberg wins the Monaco Grand Prix. What a performance. That's another huge haul of points in the championship. And Ticey did get past TV Chanel, which is a shame because he could continue his streak. But that wasn't the Mercedes that cost the life. It was Happy. I think it got lapped by Kevin Zundberg. I saw, you know what? I think TVH, Kevin Zundberg slowed down and Ticey and TVHL was able to unlock themselves. That's a very kind gesture from Kevin Zundberg to unlock themselves. But here we go now. It's a shame that TVHL couldn't get himself inside the top 10 because Ticey is a double kick Sauber top 10 again. Here comes Ticey to the final corner and Ticey finishes inside the top 10 for a double kick Sauber point again. Mummy Nick in P4, great drive, and TVHL will finish in P11. And what a race then to conclude the Monaco Grand Prix. It is finally over. Thank God for that. Almost 2 hours here. And we're done in Monaco. I'm so happy now because I want to get my takeaways. I think it's cold now. I did order it quite late, but I think it's cold. But Milan Langer, once again, mate, I want to thank you a lot for commentating alongside me. You're an absolute legend as always, mate. And pleasure as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you as well, and enjoy your food.
Thank you for. So, Fireblade says this game is so trash. But don't speed them, mate, under the VSC. Come on. I mean, it's self-inflicted pain. Fireblade says drive for nothing. Well, you must have got it for a reason, Fireblade, because you're sped, mate, and you gotta have cat-like reactions. So don't be blaming the. He says he'll send me the clip, but yeah, I'm looking to Fireblade there, and he will not be happy with that one. I think that's he finished in P8 for P4. Should have been on the podium, but unfortunately didn't. Miles Makis, wow, what a drive! I feel so bad for not announcing him as on the podium, but what a drive from Miles Makis in P3. Sensational drive from him in the Racing Bull. Great pace, kept it clean and thorough, and he finishes in P3. And then Mummy Nick was only about 6 seconds behind the Racing Bull as well, so almost there on the podium, or 5 seconds behind too. But that's it then. That's the end of the Monaco Grand Prix. And we'll see you all at the Singapore Grand Prix next week on Friday at 6:30 UK time.
Good night.
Specie lata tot seeds.